Although Aemond Targaryen in House of the Dragon is undoubtedly not a positive character, he still possesses a certain dark magnetism and commands a certain respect. This is likely in large part due to the English actor Ewan Mitchell, who does an excellent job portraying the fierce Targaryen prince. Aemond fully immersed himself in the political intrigues of the Seven Kingdoms, but he was far more interested in real battles, war, and the opportunities to brutally deal with his enemies. He never tried to appear as someone else and was always true to himself, cruel, willful, fierce. In short, a true Targaryen. This character is increasingly appealing to me, despite his far from noble deeds in the series. Therefore, I wanted to delve deeper into his story, Aemond's childhood, his development, his major exploits, and his tragic end. Please note, this article will likely contain spoilers for House of the Dragon, if the show follows the book's plot. Aemond was the second son of King Viserys, who in his later years married Alicent Hightower and fathered 3 children with her, despite previously naming his eldest daughter from his first marriage, Rhaenyra, as his heir. When Aemond's older brother Aegon was born, dangerous whispers immediately began at court that the throne should go to the boy, even if he was younger than his sister. And when Aemond was born, these whispers only grew stronger, dividing the entire kingdom into 2 camps, those who supported Rhaenyra and those who supported young Aegon. Rhaenyra and Aegon were half-siblings, so the Targaryen relatives also became divided. Daemon, the uncle of Rhaenyra, Aegon, and Aemond, chose Rhaenyra's side, as marrying her could make him king, while the birth of his nephews significantly distanced him from the throne. The Velaryons, who were also related to the Targaryens, supported Rhaenyra as well. Aegon and Aemond, however, also had considerable forces behind them, led primarily by their mother, Queen Alicent Hightower. An atmosphere of mutual hatred and distrust formed at court. Both sides openly amassed power and tried to win over as many supporters as possible. This was the environment in which Aemond grew up, and from childhood he absorbed the hatred his mother and older brother harbored for Rhaenyra, her children, and their uncle Daemon. And this atmosphere suited Aemond well. By temperament, he had always been fierce, vengeful, harsh, and uncompromising. He anticipated conflict, prepared for it, and longed to demonstrate his abilities, and he was capable of much. From a young age, Aemond trained in swordsmanship under the renowned warrior Criston Cole, and under his guidance he achieved considerable success. Aemond compensated for his small stature and lack of a powerful physique with speed and cunning, becoming a very dangerous fighter. He was also brave from an early age, to the point of madness. When he was 10 years old, Laena Velaryon, who had been the rider of the oldest and most powerful dragon, Vhagar, died in childbirth. Dragons grieve deeply after the loss of their riders, and for some time after such an event, even experienced Targaryen riders are advised not to approach them. However, the 10-year-old Aemond, immediately after the funeral, secretly made his way to Vhagar's lair to claim her. On the way, he encountered Rhaenyra's son, Joffrey, but Aemond simply pushed him aside. He then crept up to the fire-breathing monster, climbed onto her back, and Vhagar soared into the sky. Aemond managed to stay on her and establish a bond with the dragon, successfully claiming her as his own. When he happily landed, he was met by Rhaenyra's 3 sons, who sought revenge for their brother Joffrey. A fight ensued. Despite being outnumbered, Aemond fought back well against his nephews, but one of them drew a knife and slashed the prince's face, blinding him in one eye. From then on, Aemond became even fiercer. He ordered a sapphire prosthetic eye to be made, and his mere appearance began to instill fear in those around him. When Aemond turned 19 and was in his prime, the open conflict between Rhaenyra and her Black Party against Aegon and his Greens began. Naturally, Aemond aligned himself with the Greens and supported his older brother. However, it's unlikely that Aemond was truly a loyal supporter of Aegon. More likely, the young prince was eager to finally prove himself in battle and settle scores with his hated relatives, particularly his uncle Daemon and his nephews, whom he deeply despised. Although he followed the orders given by his mother and brother, Aemond couldn't be considered entirely reliable. His allies even feared his unpredictability. He eventually revealed his true nature when he was sent on a diplomatic mission to Storm's End. Storm's End was ruled by the Baratheons, a powerful and warlike house. The Greens feared that Lord Boros Baratheon might lean toward supporting Rhaenyra, as she had Rhaenys Targaryen, a distant relative of Boros, on her side. To win over the Baratheons, Aemond was tasked with making them a generous offer, which included the proposal of marrying one of Lord Boros's daughters. In other words, Aemond was expected to secure a marriage alliance. However, at the same time that Aemond arrived at Storm's End, so did Rhaenyra's envoy, her second son, Lucerys Velaryon. Aemond harbored a deep hatred for Lucerys and nearly killed him on the spot, but Boros intervened. After listening to both envoys, Lord Baratheon accepted Aemond's proposal and sent Lucerys away. But Aemond had no intention of letting his nephew leave peacefully. Both men departed the castle on their dragons. The problem was that Lucerys was still an inexperienced rider, and his dragon was young and small. Aemond, by contrast, had become a masterful dragon rider, and his dragon Vhagar was the largest and most powerful in the Seven Kingdoms. That day, a fierce storm raged in the Stormlands. Taking advantage of the chaos, Aemond, riding Vhagar, attacked the unsuspecting Lucerys and brutally killed his nephew. Upon returning to his mother, brother, and grandfather, Aemond received a mixed reception. His mother and grandfather condemned him for his actions. Killing relatives, especially of royal blood, was unacceptable, even during a civil war. However, his brother Aegon, who had been crowned, was very pleased and praised Aemond for such a bold act. After this, the war between the Greens and the Blacks became even more brutal. Aemond, riding Vhagar, joined the Greens' army, significantly strengthening their forces. The Greens laid siege to Harrenhal, whose lord supported Rhaenyra. This was a cunning trap devised by Aegon's Hand of the King, Criston Cole, and Aemond. The Greens ravaged the lands around the castle, forcing the Blacks to send reinforcements to Harrenhal, Lady Rhaenys Targaryen on her dragon. Rhaenys, mounted on Meleys, attacked the Greens' forces, bringing death and fire. However, unexpectedly, Aegon and Aemond appeared in the sky on their dragons. They attacked their relative, and a fierce battle ensued in the air. In the end, the brothers managed to bring Rhaenys and Meleys down, but they too fell from the sky with their dragons. Rhaenys and Meleys perished in the battle, but Aegon was gravely injured, and his dragon, Sunfire, lost the ability to fly. Aemond, on the other hand, emerged from the battle unscathed and triumphant. With his brother wounded, he immediately claimed the title of Protector of the Realm, essentially the king's regent. Moreover, he even began wearing the royal crown, which, it was rumored, suited him very well. Afterward, Aemond, along with Criston Cole, his mentor, elder friend, and comrade, set out to seize Harrenhal, a castle that had been recently abandoned by Daemon Targaryen, Aemond's uncle. However, this turned out to be a cunning plan by the Blacks. While Aemond was away leading his forces, Rhaenyra made a daring strike, took the capital, and seized the Iron Throne. Aemond was furious. He executed Simon Strong, the Castellan of Harrenhal, and all his relatives. Afterward, Aemond unleashed a reign of terror on lands loyal to the Blacks, burning villages, castles, and everything that crossed his path with Vhagar. All of this was done to draw his uncle Daemon into battle. In the end, he succeeded. Daemon arrived on his dragon Caraxes, not as old or large as Vhagar, but still incredibly powerful and fierce. The battle between Aemond and Daemon became legendary. They were quite similar: unruly, ruthless, headstrong. True Targaryens by nature, both believed they deserved the throne more than their older brothers, yet neither of them ever became kings. They were unlucky to live during the same time and to find themselves on opposite sides of the conflict. Still, it's likely that both Daemon and Aemond were thrilled to test themselves against such a dangerous and fierce opponent. They soared into the sky and the battle began. Both were masterful fighters and exceptional dragon riders, but Daemon was slightly more experienced and calculating. Thus, Vhagar's size didn't help Aemond secure victory. Caraxes latched onto Vhagar's neck with a deadly grip, and in the decisive moment of the battle, Daemon leaped from Caraxes onto Vhagar's back, drew his blade, and struck Aemond right in his remaining eye. Both dragons and their riders plummeted into the lake below. Only Caraxes managed to crawl out of the lake, but soon succumbed to his injuries. Aemond and Daemon were buried beneath the waters. In its depths, the fierce Aemond Targaryen met his demise and found his final rest, never fully realizing his potential. What do you think of this character from House of the Dragon? Share your thoughts in the comments.